Hello, how are you all? Today is day 4 of walking 7 miles a day for 14 days. Now, out of the week, I walked 6 days. I made it to 7 miles 4 days. So, not so bad. The one day this week, I think I will only walk zero point 0.3 miles. So I didn't do anything at all. Back to the time of the month stuff. Wasn't say I wasn't. I was feeling good this month, so I really didn't really have any excuses other than the energy. Like that first or second day, the energy would just be really really low. So I slept one day, and then the rest of the days I just walked through it. But I didn't do 7 days consecutively. Not for any particular reason. The days that I didn't walk 7 miles, I was either with someone or just busy, just doing things. So I did get 4 days in instead of five. So I'm not going to be too upset with myself over that, especially since I walked 6 days this week rather than five. So the message for today, I read it before I started walking, a little bit before I started walking, and it was pretty cool because I had the T-shirt on that said the same thing. So I was like, oh well, this is awesome. So the message translation of 2 Corinthians 5:7. That's why we live with such good cheer. You won't see us drooping our heads or dragging our feet. Cramped conditions here don't get us down. They only remind us of the spacious living conditions ahead. It's what we trust in, but don't yet see that keeps us going. Do you suppose a few ruts in the road or rocks in the path are going to stop us? When the time comes, we'll be plenty ready to exchange exile for homecoming. And Second Corinthians, that was verses 6 through 8. The highlighted verse, the 7, was for we walk by faith and not by sight. And I had that T-shirt on today that Miss Faye gave me, so that was pretty awesome. And I thought I was gonna mostly talk about walking, but I would say this: in those 4 days that I've been walking 7 miles, I have not had it. I haven't. It hasn't been painful for me. I've been able to do things after the walk, and I've also even been able to incorporate some consistent running, jogging in my walk. So it's actually pretty cool that I actually went up to 7 miles. Time wise is the only thing that I would like to improve on. But even today, my 7 miles was almost close to my normal 6 mile time. So I can't remember how many. Um, it was 2 hours and 47 minutes today, and like for 7 miles, seven. Look, it was right now 7.18 miles. Now, when I usually do 6 miles, it'll take me about 2.5 hours. Like this hip of mine, I'm pretty on the slow side. But seeing that I got over 7 at 2.47 miles when I was average about 2.5 miles to get to 6, so that's pretty good. I kind of cool. I didn't even realize that. But anyway, so the awesome thing in the reflection of we walk by faith and not by sight, I have to go away from. As I was walking, I go through different neighborhoods. I'll go through my neighborhood, which is mostly tree line, older homes, historic homes. Like my house is over 100 years old. Like they're all of them in Lindenwold are like that, really historic homes. And then you might see some seniors on the other side of town, and you'll see the apartments on the other side of town. And the town is not that huge. And then you will cross over into another town past my neighborhood, and it's like a pretty well developed area for Heath, and much more developed than mine. Much that income, some of those neighborhoods really, really, really nice homes. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just like going to see them because I love looking at yards, and everything. I know, I guess I shouldn't be doing that, but my neighborhood is not like that. Thankfully, you know, thank God for that. But I love, I can stop at a neighbor and be like, how'd you do this? And they'll tell me how to fix my yard. But anyway, I saw this one fountain, and it was so beautiful, and it was just rocks, and just in front of the yard, where you can just hear the water streaming. That's really, really my thing. And it just made me reflect, just that instantly back to when we moved into this house last year. Before, we were in this apartment, and we were in there for 8 years. And here's why: I moved into this townhouse, Timber Ridge, when, like, maybe a year after my aunt passed away, and about 2 years after my divorce. And I was in school, I was losing weight, and I was just like trying to get my life back, because my old place was like, had a lot of sadness there, and I just wanted to escape that. But when I moved into that townhouse, it was a rental townhouse. It was upstairs, downstairs, 2 bedrooms, and it was and because I wanted something that was kind of like a condo, so at least I could feel like I was in a home. And when I moved in, God was like, "You're not gonna move. You stay put until it's time for you to get an actual home. This is it for you." Because I was moving around a lot, like every year. Every time for me to renew my lease, I was like, "Okay, time to bounce," because I was going through stuff. And and I stayed there, but as soon as I moved into that place at June, as soon as I moved in June, by September, I had met my now husband. And it was almost like we were just coming together like this. And, you know, I said that, God's put me in a certain position, and for to have him move to New Jersey, and it was, you know, what I keep going back to that though, is that that it took 8 years. And I remember I thought when I moved into that apartment, it's going to take about 3 years for me to get myself together and get out of college and whatever, with me and my son and everything. I thought that's how long it was going to take me. So I was walking by the faith that, okay, 3 years. But then things changed. I met a man, that I ended up falling in love with, and we ended up, trying to create a life together, and all of that. And in the process of that, I stopped going to school to plan my wedding, and I just never really went back. And I honestly never really decided to really that much. I think I was just over it. I was trying to find something else to do with my life. But anyway, walking by faith and not by sight, when I'm walking around these houses, and then it made me reflect on where I am, and just walking 7 miles. I'm just looking at my whole life in totality. And sometimes you just have to just sit back and like remember when you did walk by faith. Sometimes God will remind you. Sometimes I'll beat myself up like, golly, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like, I'm falling short here, I'm falling short there. And then God will remind me of when I stood on a word. And I'm sitting here right now talking to you here in this space. And it's just walking by faith. It really is. I wish I could just like spill my whole testimony of those times, and not to be egotistical. That's not where I want to go here. It's just like, God was like, sometimes you need to talk about, those specific times where where that I showed up, that you saw me, that you did A, looking at me, and B, happened. Just and so when I get tired, or when I'm frustrated, or whatever, not losing weight, or not going progressing where I am, like the thing that I've been dealing with this week is, how am I going to lose any more weight? Getting to 200 was an accomplishment. I've done that plenty of times in my life. Okay, like my head is not registering to me that I can get smaller than that. Not even that I want to, I'm afraid to, or anything like that. It's just like I'm just so used to being here that being anywhere else, even with the walking, I don't see it. But it's like I God is telling me, your life is going to change. Everything is going to change. I literally have to look at these videos just to see that, you know, because I haven't been walking by sight at all these 6 miles and then the 7 miles. It's been purely by faith because my flesh has a hard time seeing success. But then God is the one who said, God was the one who first put in my head to start videotaping it, then gave Dee Dee confirmation for me to do that, and then for Robert confirmation to do that, so that I could reflect and see that this is what happens to you when you walk by faith and not by sight. You know, the home that I'm in now, this that I'm, communicating in with you now, and I look at my old videos and I see that my face doesn't look the same as it did then. Like my skin is clearer. Obviously, it's slightly thinner, but it's clearer. My voice doesn't sound the same. Like we really do walk by faith and not by sight. And sometimes I think today was a moment for me to take a pause and acknowledge that God, you know, I believe this with all my God owes me absolutely nothing. He doesn't grant me another thing in this lifetime, or I shall be satisfied, and I mean that. But at the same time, God tells me, honey, take a pause and look at where I brought you from. Take a pause and look what faith does. Take a pause and look at what happens when you actually do apply your faith. This is a dance we do. I'll always be here for you. I always love you. I will never leave you, forsake you. Still walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes us settling for what we have is it can be sometimes we settle for things when God is asking us to do more. And I guess I want here to say, if God is asking you to do more, if your heart, not me, not no one in your family or anyone else at work or anything, if God is telling you to do more, I implore you to do more. One little step at a time. You don't have to do the whole thing. But what is he asking you to do on this day? Just do that. Just do that. Just be amazed by God. It's not about accomplishing anything. It isn't. It's just about experiencing more of God. All right. I do not think this video went very well, but whatever, because I have no idea what I was doing. Anyway, y'all have a godly day. And bless you all. Bye-bye.